Wow. That that comes so close to life, because it was something very similar that shook me up about 25 years ago, and which changed which at least made me aware that I'm not being aware of myself. It was a similar kind of breakup, and I realized, why is this happening with me? I believe that I'm a truly good person, and I'm such a loving person, and why does this happen with me? And but then, when I launched myself onto this journey of personal transformation two decades, 25 years ago, I can still see that, the first 20 or 22 years of my even personal development was also, I used to binge watch all these videos of experts. I was more into a spiritual journey, and at one point I renounced my family to become a monk in a spiritual order. But in spite of all this awareness, I still see that I was stuck in, even in that personal development, I was still in the chase game. I was more into creating. But if I look back, uh, and I'll say that the point that separated these two journeys, of a journey which was filled with hard work, comparison, effort, and the next part of the journey, let's say last 3 to 4 years, which was kind of effortless, and has been moving towards effortlessness. And I give credit to something that I also read from your bio, and it was the understanding of three principles. And when I came across this work of Sydney Banks, and I came across this, I was introduced to this by Michael Neal, and then I got to understand a lot about this from Clarity, from Jamie Smart, and then it was because of Michael Neal that I heard about uh, my guru, my coach now, Steve Harrison, and that's how it led to a new journey. Uh, and when you speak about Tony Robbins and this kind of a work, and then when I learn about you, and you talking about effortless way of creating life. What's been your experience, and what would you like to share about that, Chris? A path which is full of hard work, chase game, even if it is in personal transformation, and the path which is effortless, and you express your authentic self. What's been
Mm.
your experience with this? What I shared with you, Chris?
Oh, there's so much beauty in what you just shared there, Ranjan. Um, I mean, first of all, Michael Neal and Jamie Smart. I mean, they've been prolific in my life and in just discovering who I really am. This formless, loving, intelligent energy, and not just putting words to that, but having insight into the nature of that, like embodying that
Hmm.
deeper, deeper. So that's the most important thing for me is effortlessness for me now comes from that space inside me where I'm so connected to knowing my divine loving nature. And that's going to mean different things to different people. But what I mean by my divine loving nature is my connectedness to the same life force that powers everything. And when I'm in that connection, there is no resistance. So in a space of there being no resistance, there can be no effort. It's like the effort. When people say they're efforting, or when I experience myself putting in effort, it's typically because I'm pushing against something.
Hmm.
And yes, sometimes there is times for that. Like when you go to the gym, yes, there is times to lift heavy weights, and yes, there is times to experience resistance. For me, the ideal way of creating is through that effortlessness, which is coming from connection. It's coming from the connection to the most true loving part of me. So that's what I mean when it's effortlessness. Do I experience 100% of my life effortlessly? No, but I'm looking to cultivate that effortlessness by finding the connection to that. I guess if there was a location that I would put it, it's more of the heart space. It's
Hmm.
finding more of the connection to that part of my body, and then letting that part of me guide me. And if I know that I'm experiencing resistance, I know that I've kind of lost my way a little bit. And so I know to come back to my true north, which is, okay, if I know I'm experiencing resistance, I'm not fully connected, to my soul and my heart. And I got to slow down. I got to pause instead of doing the thing that I was normally tempted to do, which is, well, I now to push even harder. And it must mean I need to push even harder and harder still. And that's where, when I first got introduced to Tony Robbins' work, he's very kind of hyper masculine. I've sort of come back from that more sort of into the middle ground, the middle way, which is, there are some times where there's there to be pushed and sometimes where I might stay up, a bit later in the night to get something done. But most of my life, I'm looking for that middle way, that place where I'm connected to my heart. That's what I mean by effortlessness.
So what has been significantly different about your life since you have been finding this balance between efforting and effortless creation? What has been significantly different about your life, and now what have you been experiencing in your personal and professional growth, Chris?
I would say an ease around how I feel about what I'm creating. So I don't feel rushed anymore. So there's an ease and there's a patience. There's a patience knowing that when I'm connected, that guidance will come through me. And there's so much reassurance there for me. There's a deep reassurance and a deep trust in life now feel from that, knowing that if I don't have the answer right then in that moment, that's okay. I can come back to the connection and the answer will come through, and it will come through when it's meant to come through.
And how, please go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm also much more comfortable with not knowing. Whereas in the past in my life, I haven't known the answer to something and I felt stressed about that. Right? Or I'm confused. I don't know what to do. Oh no, this is a disaster. Now I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. I trust that I know at some point, whenever I'm meant to know what to do, I will know. And again, so it keeps coming back to that center point inside me, where if I am meant to know, if I'm connected to that place, that's going to be the fastest point of connection to discover that. So there's an ease and there's a patience there, and there's a deep trust there, that whatever is meant to be revealed to me will happen.